Hi folks, so welcome back to our lesson number 2 in the space topic, and today is a lot shorter because you're going to be doing a lot of research to find out about these things called stellar objects, and you're going to describe key stellar objects and also learn a little bit about the origin and age of the universe. So a wee bit of info there for you at the end of this lesson. So, first of all, what is a stellar object? So I would like you to write this down as a wee definition in your jotter. Stellar object is any object that's in space. So examples of these are the following. So something called a star, planets, you probably know, satellites, you've probably come across before, solar system, I'd expect to have come across that before as well, dwarf planet, exoplanet, galaxy, we've talked about our own galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, comets, asteroids, black hole, nebulae, and supernova. So all of these things are things that you can find, excuse me, in space. So what I'd like to do for this assignment, this lesson's assignment is to research the following terms. Okay, so for each of these, find out the definition of the term. What does that word mean? An example of it. So for example, for the planets, you could maybe give me an example as Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus. You could even give me Earth, although try and choose something that's a little bit more interesting. Okay, a picture of it, so a photograph if you can, or a cartoon or a diagram. If you're really stuck, try the NASA website because they usually have lots of lovely photographs of things in space. Now, don't worry about writing this down because I do have this as an assignment worksheet, so that information there is for you along with the instructions. So to give you a wee helping hand, let's look at some of these things. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was a black hole. And I know that's something that are really quite interesting to people. So I have a video link at the bottom here, which again, I'll post onto Teams for you to click on. And it's a really, really nice video about what black holes are and what happens if you go into a black hole and the different types of black holes you can get as well. But if you're wondering, this photograph here is an actual photograph of a black hole that was taken within the last 2 years. And this is really exciting because up until this photograph, we knew about black holes in terms of the theory, but we had never really seen one and certainly had never taken a photograph of one. So for a physicist, an astronomer to take a photograph of that, it was really, really exciting and we could really learn a lot more about this black hole. So I won't say any more because you may find more information about this when you do the research. And if you do have any questions, feel free to email me or to post questions to me on Teams. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the Big Bang. And again, you might have heard of this. You might have seen the TV series The Big Bang Theory. But the Big Bang is basically an idea that cosmologists have, and what it is that they believe the universe started with an event called the Big Bang. Now, one of the most misleading things about the Big Bang is that people think it was an explosion, because the word Big Bang suggests there's an explosion. Well, sadly, that's not the case. There wasn't some kind of explosion and then suddenly the universe started and developing however it developed. The reason why it's called a Big Bang is because you can see in my little graphic at the bottom here, we think, or cosmologists think, that something happens that triggered the start of the universe, and from that point onwards, the universe started to expand and get bigger. And because it expands, cosmologists called it the Big Bang because in an explosion, you get a loud bang and objects get thrown further away. So this is why people call it a Big Bang. Now, from the calculations, astronomers are able to say that they suspect the Big Bang happened about 14 billion years ago. Okay, now to put that into context, dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. We've probably been on planet Earth for about 10,000 years. So you can see how great a length of time this is and how old the universe actually is. And again, this number here, physicists actually have theories which allow them to actually work out this age. So it's not a number that they've just made up, it is a scientifically proven number. Now, one of the questions you might have is, how do we know the universe started with Big Bang? Well, there's no direct evidence for it, and one of the reasons for that is because it happened so long ago, 14 billion years ago. So it's a bit like me saying to you, what evidence do you have of doing your homework last year, right? You might not be able to prove it directly if you lost your homework, but you might have evidence to say, well, for example, I know I've written it in my diary or I've put it on Show My Homework. So there's indirect evidence. So one of the indirect evidence for the Big Bang was something called the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is sometimes called the CMB. And this is basically the radiation or the energy that was left over from the Big Bang. So again, going back to the analogy of an explosion, even if you didn't see the explosion, you might know it happened because you might have heard the explosion. And that explosion might have caused an echo that could have travelled a very big distance. And so this cosmic background radiation is the same idea. It's like the echo from the events that caused the Big Bang, and this is still detectable because you can see this in the night sky if you have something called a radio telescope. And this is the type of picture that you would see if you were actually trying to detect the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background radiation. And this was in fact discovered by accident in 1965. So astronomers didn't go looking for this, they actually discovered it by accident. And again, there's a nice wee video at the bottom here which explains it in more detail. So what I'll do is I'll put these video links on the Teams page and you can access them before you do the actual assignment. And that's your lesson for today, folks. So good luck with research, and as always, if you have any questions, you can email me or post on Teams.